the holidays and now to start off the new year with all the discussions really being on South American weather. But here this next week though, we got a big January crop report coming up, and so today, what we want to do is kind of go through a marketing plan with you and some things we'd consider for 2022. Our first slide in here though, we just want to show you on a calendar wise and where they're at in South America. I mean, right now we're looking at Brazilian bean harvest is going to be starting up, and the first cutting of corn will be going. They'll plant their second corn crop. When you look at Argentina in here, they're about 80% planted on both their corn and soybeans. So that's where they're at in the growing season, and of course you know what it's like here in the U.S. As we finished up 2021 and started looking ahead to 2022, and we really highlighted this, okay, on the end of the year report. A couple things that stuck out were comments from producers on, I would like to extend the good times. The other thing, a big concern was though, is where our input costs going to be in 2022, and looking ahead to 2023 with inflation, as we've seen some chemical and fertilizer prices triple this year alone. It comes down to then how do you put together a simple marketing program that offers you some flexibility, and one thing that we've gone back towards over the last 10, 15, 20 years on a simple marketing plan is just a third theory, where we forward contract a third, we buy puts or put fences on a third, do nothing on the last third. Now, what's important to remember is when you purchase crop insurance in here right now, that the combination between your forward contracting and hedges and you put fences in place do not exceed your insured bushels. We need to keep it below that. Once you get your insured bushels protected, if you want additional downside coverage, you're better off just budgeting dollars and buying some puts then at that time. So, if you need some help on going through the reasons by that additionally, feel free to give us a call. So now we want to look at just a simple marketing program in here on corn, and with that you need a starting point. What we're using here just for some easy figuring is 600 acres of corn, a 200 bushel APH. That gives us 120,000 bushels of total production. We just put on here 75% crop insurance. If a producer tells us that he's got that kind of crop insurance, that reminds us that we do not want to push combined sales, hedges, and fences above 90,000 bushels. To keep things simple, we're putting no basis in here when we're looking at our numbers. If we just look at the futures market here today, we've got these corn futures at $5.50 a bushel. You can do a $5 650 fence for about 2 cents. You have to keep in mind though that fence position is marginable, and we're going to do both of those at 40,000 bushels. That follows up with our third theory. Now the question is how does this all end up when we get to the end? So or what does this look like I just got ahead of myself on this. So how does this fence look on a chart here? And this is what I have in front of us right now, is I've got a December 22 corn futures chart. As you can see, over the last couple of months, we spent most of the time between $5.30 and $5.60 a bushel. This fence position gives us a $5 price floor and a $6.50 ceiling. Now, if the market goes above $6.50, you're not going to get any more for your corn than $6.50 a bushel. On the other hand, if we break below $5, that gives you a price floor on a 30-year bushels. What we like to do then when we look at this fence position is compare it and put it on a monthly chart. Here are the two horizontal red lines of our same price floor at $5 and our price ceiling at $6.50. You can see this past year we spent 3-4 months above $6.50 a bushel, as we did also in 2011, 2012, 2013. So before you put this position in place, you have to tell yourself, I'm real content having a $6.50 ceiling. If you want to have a $7 ceiling or $7.50 ceiling, then you'd just be paying more for the option fence position. We use that $5 to $6.50 as an example here on this presentation. Now, I got ahead of myself before. This is the one where I talked about and where do we end up with at harvest. And what is important to assume here, or to acknowledge what we're doing, is we budgeted 120,000 bushels in the beginning of the year. We're betting that we're harvesting 120,000 bushels right now. So if we implement our third theory like we have in place, and this fall we've got December corn futures at $4 a bushel, By implementing this strategy, you would end up with a 483 average or grossing out $965 an acre. On the other hand, let's say this market is relatively flat and we end up at 550 a bushel. You can see we paid a few cents for the option fence. We're going to end up with a 549 average or gross just less than $1,100 an acre. If the market is at 650, you're going to end up with a 616 average. But if the market goes up to $8 a bushel, you're at 666. Why it has dropped off so much, though, from $8 down to 666, is we not only have a third of our corn forward contracted at 550, but a third of it's limited at 650 a bushel as well. And it's just the last third we're able to capture that $8 price. As a producer, what's most important to look at is that bottom line, the dollars per acre gross. Essentially, with a strategy like this, you're protecting anywhere from a $965 an acre gross all the way up to a little over $1,300. Is that something you can be happy with? As we look to wrap things up in here right now, and again, closing out 2021, it was about how do we extend some good times. Now, this is a strategy that you could implement in here that covers your dollars per acre. The one concern we have, though, as we look ahead is rising input costs. I mean, there is $1,500 anhydrous out here right now, and bottom line is next fall, if we've got corn at $6.50 or $7 a bushel, we could easily have $2,000 anhydrous. On the other hand, if corn's south of $5 in here right now, most likely your input costs are going to go down. This type of a marketing program offers you some flexibility, not only on price, but when you put option positions in place, you can end up moving those ahead in here on the carry of the market. The DEES options expire, you want to deliver the grain in March or May. A lot of times you can look ahead to the carry of the market. Now, if you don't want marginable positions in here, we've got to suggest just budgeting dollars for some puts. Again, this is a relatively simple marketing plan, but a lot of times the simplest strategies work out the best. Now, what you need to realize, though, is this plan doesn't fit for everyone. Okay, and the other thing is we're not necessarily saying, hey, you've got to come in here and lock all your bushels up today. Is this something that you maybe want to scale in with over the next 3-4 months on looking at where the prices are in the market? Or is this something where you want to be more aggressive with here today? You need to keep in mind, everyone is different out there, and you need to do what works best for your own operation. When it comes to putting a marketing plan together, a lot of times it's best to have an open conversation with someone you trust. We encourage you to give us a call if you want to discuss a potential marketing plan for your operation here in 2022. Any questions, give us a ring. We look forward to coming to you here next week a couple of times. We'll again come on our regular day on Tuesday, but then we got the January crop report out on the 12th that we'll be updating for sure at that time. Any questions, give us a holler. Have a great day.